So, getting into the year, one thing has actually been very, very clear for me, which is what exactly am I going to do this year? What difference am I going to make this year? And how am I going to change my life differently this year? And also, how am I going to improve my life this year? But when I was asking myself this question, it boiled down to impact, right? So, now, Happy New Year and welcome to an amazing year 2025. This is my very first video for the year. But now, concerning this, I would actually want to speak about this whole thing. Now, what exactly is impact, right? I was thinking about impact and how you can actually make impact. And during my time of meditation, one thing became very clear. Impact is actually widely used, but very much misunderstood. That is, if you're going to look at the way, like last year or just basically like decades ago, for instance, we are going to be looking at decades ago, like maybe in the 80s, the way impact was defined then is different because the way industrialization in terms of productivity was defined then is actually different right now. And when you're talking about productivity at that early age, one thing was actually very, very clear. Productivity is actually spanned or talked about in the aspect of how much unit of things you can actually produce per hour or in a particular given period of time, right? That is actually very different. But right now, productivity is actually not like that because we have advanced from like the I would call it the archaic times into the more digital economy, into the more digital world, right? So which means the impact level we make and productivity we actually make is actually measured differently, just like the way there is time, all these kind of measurements in terms of physics and things like that. That is exactly what it is, right? It's very, very different. So before we get into the whole concept of how you can make impact and what impact exactly is, welcome to my channel. I'm really honored to have you here. And please, I mentioned in the previous videos, edits, I'm actually still working on editing, but I don't want to hold back what I'm doing right now. I don't want to hold back like passing information because of editing and a lot of things I don't have right now, which I will get in the future. Prayers. Okay, now welcome to my channel. My name is Adeze, and I am a second year student studying electrical and electronics engineering. And one thing I have over 5 years of research experience. I have networking, and I also I'm very, very much invested in innovations, and I've done over 4 to 5 years of research on innovations. I have one major product that is actually still pending, that basically patent pending. I'm currently working on basically bringing up that product or project to life. Now let's basically dive into what impact is. Impact is very, very unique because impact right now can actually be measured differently. Impact is not measured in the concept of how work or how will I say it was 20 to 30 years ago. How do I mean? In the 80s, it was basically advised that when you have a job, when you go to school, when you graduate from secondary school, high school, you go to college or university, after which you basically get a degree and then you basically go into like the workspace or the workspace, yes. And when you do that, you basically start earning income. The income you actually earn can actually be used for your family, which is like impact to your family, and also can basically be used to support like your friends and people around you. And you can also support them by using what you've learned, your intellectual property, what you've learned in school, what you've picked up in school, right? That is that. Now let's basically dive into what impact actually is today, in this day and age. Impact is actually very, very different because impact is actually measured in the concept of not just the money you're able to give out to people, but how much of their lives you're able to change. For instance, if I meet somebody today and the person is finding it difficult to basically have understanding of their goals in life and basically how to basically work on the things and channel their life properly, I can actually help that person. When I do that, it's impact, right? So let's basically go deep into the whole concept and expand what it actually is. So now, for individuals like us who are basically upcoming, there are 5 major ways to basically make impact. There are a few ways, but I will just give you like the very, very 5. So before I dive into this very, very 5, I want to basically take you guys, like backtracking you guys. Just imagine this being edited, so I'm backtracking you guys. So backtracking to when my 18th birthday, I was thinking of what to do for my 18th birthday. I've never really been a huge celebrator of birthdays. I've actually only had a cake, if I'm not mistaken, 3 times in my life. It's odd. But for my 18th birthday, I was asking, okay, what exactly do I do? I don't want to even start thinking of parties within budgets. I just want to do something that would help me because it's my birthday, right? So in the concept of thinking, I arrived at something. And what I arrived at was, I reached out to all my mentors and I asked them a question. I was like, sorry, my birthday is actually coming up. Can I schedule you in? Because I know you have a very busy schedule for this day, this time. And they all agreed. So when this happened, I asked them a question or 2 questions. Number 1 was, what would they have done differently if they were 18? And how would they basically aid their lives, and what would they have accomplished if they decided what they currently know now at 18. When I asked these 2 questions, sorry, please forgive the surroundings. You can see I'm trying to basically scale up by the grace of God. So let's go into it. So when I asked this question, one particular advice stood out more than the others. What this mentor told me was, Adaeze, do not fit your square peg in a round hole. And it got me thinking, what exactly is this? What? And then when I was thinking about this whole thing very, very thoroughly, it just boiled down to one major thing, which is, what exactly is my square peg and what is a round hole? And then he told me that you're a very unique person. As you can see, my surrounding, it's very, the way I speak is different, the way I act is different, what I do is different. People's concept of me and how I live is actually very, very different. So now, concerning these things, there were a lot of concepts that was very, very different, from what I do and how every other person around me thinks. So he said that I don't have to basically try to fit a narrative of people. Instead, I should just basically work with them, for them to fit my narrative. For instance, I don't have to basically lower my integrity of speech, lower my integrity of how I do things, my work ethics and things like that, or my vastness in the concept of renewable energy or life in general. I don't have to basically fit it into what they would think. I don't have to basically fit that concept into what they would basically imagine that is right. You understand? So I had to basically do some things that are very different, improve my speech, my way of writing is different, my platforms are different, my mode of operations are different, so he told me that I shouldn't change myself because of every other person's thought of who I can become in their own eyes. Instead, I should basically focus on my purpose. Now this brings me to the very first thing you need to know. The very first thing you need to know concerning purpose is, concerning impact, is purpose. What is your purpose? Now, I'm going to define purpose for you, and I'm also going to tell you how to find your purpose. Now, your purpose is basically something that makes you fulfilled, something that can be done, or something that is peculiar to you, that you have skills, you have uniqueness, and you have a passion for, that is unlike every other person in that same field of study. Now, let's basically talk about purpose in a few minutes. What exactly is purpose now? Purpose is something, for instance, when something happens around you and you feel frustrated, and you feel like you can actually make a difference, that is actually passion. And if you look into it properly, you're going to find purpose in that. For instance, a few years ago, something was done to my surroundings here. There was a huge drainage. Maybe later on I'm going to basically show pictures. Please forgive me for not showing pictures, please. So there was a huge drainage that really affected a lot of people, and that was during the rainy season. And in fact, it was so bad that even if a woman is currently in labor, you will need to wait the next morning. It was so bad. It was so bad, right? So now I started asking myself one question: how can I basically integrate what is happening here, and how can I improve what is happening here? So it just basically spiraled me into like world of research, and I started researching on nuclear energy. But the very basic one I started researching on was hydroelectric power supply. How do I use the abundance of liquid that's currently flowing through these pathways into the houses that are basically around? Started working on the idea. I got an amazing idea for it, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get funding. I was young, I was 14 then. It was so weird. I couldn't get funding, and in Africa here, especially in Nigeria, it's very, very difficult for such things to basically fly out. So, and I didn't have a phone then. I got a phone when I was like 15, 16 thereabout. Very odd. So after that, I was asking myself questions. Okay, what exactly would I do now with all the things that are around? So when I got 15 years old, please forgive the sound around, forgive the surrounding sound. When I got 15, I started asking myself one question. Okay, I have a passion for power generation. Now, what do I do? I started researching, and I saw, nuclear fusion, and then by the grace of God, I was able to get the concept of nuclear fusion. I was able to get the solution of nuclear fusion. Also, with that, I was able to get the solution to currently existing solar panels and how to basically increase them from 23% to 70% efficiency. But I've always been cut down in aspect of basically meeting investors and getting funding for it. So I started channeling my passion to another way, which is writing. So I have like a LinkedIn profile which is about 5,000 plus followers, and apparently I've been able to basically write over 30 plus articles on LinkedIn, and with over 15 of them being published, I have great passion, and I was able to basically channel into this area, right? So that's basically where passion came from, and this is the very first thing you need to know concerning impact: your passion. Now I'm going to explain when I basically get to like the whole vibe. Secondly, what you need to do when you find your passion is to go into like this aspect of self-awareness. When you're passionate about something, everybody around you should know. That is, when you talk about it, the way you act, what you do, the places you go to, should express that you are passionate about this particular thing, right? For instance, if you're passionate about cleaning, right, you should basically spiral into aspects of it. For instance, everybody can write. Let's just use the writing area. If I should give you a particular piece of document, and I tell you to write it down for me, you can use either a pen and paper, or you can use your system, or just write it down. Either you type it or you basically write it down with a pen and paper. But not everybody's a creative writer, so when you find your passion, you need to go deep into it. The aspect of actually diving deep into your niche is where the self-awareness comes in. Right, I started going into researches. I found my course of study. Unfortunately, when it comes to like studying renewable energy engineering currently in the country, I don't think it's really accessible to federal universities. So I had to go with electrical and electronics engineering, which is actually very, very good also, right? So now let's go into like the whole thing. Now, not everybody is a content writer. Not everybody is a creative writer. Not everybody is an author, right? But everyone can write. So you have to delve deep into your passion and see how you can basically improve yourself in that line of work. Now, while you're doing that, which is actually very, very good, set goals. The goals you set is very important. For instance, coming into the year, the whole reason for this video, I was setting my goals for the year, what I want to achieve for the year, and I was asking myself, okay, how do I achieve them? Making a plan, doing this and that to basically get to where I want to get to in the goal setting. And then that's basically what's spiraled into this video, right? So now let's basically go into the other aspect of this. After you set your goals, discipline, you might be asking me, how does discipline even come into this whole thing? Discipline is very important because if you were passionate about something, you have found your purpose on it, you have exuded the excellence of what you want to do whenever people speak to you, you set goals concerning what you want to achieve concerning that particular product or project, or concerning that particular service, the next best thing is to be disciplined about it. Why? Because results are not born out of chance or luck. Results are born out of consistent repetition of a particular activity. This is where discipline comes in. A lot of people would actually walk or talk with you when you have actually achieved results in that area. Now, when you've achieved results in this area, people are more likely to come to you, learn from you, and your story is more likely to even reach places that you may never have even heard of, which is actually impact in a way, because you can actually be inspiring somebody without even knowing that they've been inspired, right? So after that, let's basically talk about the next best thing. Sorry for that distraction. Let's talk about the next best thing. Exuding the excellency of yourself when necessary. When you are called to speak, you don't just go to speak in the concept of the confines of your thoughts and things like that, which is actually very, very good. But you're meant to exude the excellence of what you're doing and your passion in that light. For instance, if you look at Jeff Bezos, right, for instance, he's very, very passionate about what he's doing, and whenever he talks, you can see the thing being exuded. You can see what he's doing being exuded, right? Now, these are the 5 major things you need to know. Number 1, purpose. Number 2, self-awareness. Number 3, you need to set like goals. 4, discipline. And 5, exuding the excellence of whatever you're doing. Right? That's exactly all you need to know. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you want me to basically talk on more things concerning if you want me to delve deep into this, to basically give you more examples, let me know in the comment section, and I'm going to basically make this work. Thank you so much. I'm very, very grateful for your time, and have a wonderful day ahead. Have a wonderful year, and have a wonderful quarter. Last thing I'm going to add to the goal setting is that you need to have quarterly quests. So there's a very amazing YouTuber named Ali Abdal who basically helps and teaches all these things, and his trademark is quarterly quest. I'm going to change that in the further run of things, but I just started the whole concept, and it's actually very, very good. So it really helped me, which is every quarter set a goal which is not more than 3 to 4. It is his words. Set a goal which is not more than 3 to 4, and make sure that you basically create things that are very, very easy for you to do, so you can easily achieve them. Okay, sorry again for that distraction. Thank you so much, guys, for the opportunity to basically share my knowledge with you. And if you watch this section, sorry I didn't say it earlier, please like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it helpful to you. Thank you so much, and have an amazing year, and also an amazing week. Or if you're watching this video later, just have an amazing time, whatever. Thank you so much. Sorry for the noise and the surrounding again. Thank you. Bye. Have an amazing day. See ya later.